Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to another episode of A Queen's Roundtable Show and Podcast. This particular segment is a part of the Born to Lead docu-series, and I am your host, Dr. Jacqueline Cabot Harrison. I am really excited, and I just want to say for all of you that have continuously supported me over the years, I really appreciate you supporting me and showing up and just basically staying up to date on everything. I just want you to know that I truly appreciate that. So, this particular episode, I have a young lady in the studio that I'm going to bring in just a moment. I'm going to tell you a little bit about her. Her name is Olivia. But just before I tell you a little bit about her, I want you to know that the Born to Lead docu-series streams on the Realizing Your Potential TV network, which we stream on platforms such as Amazon Fire TV, Apple TV, Roku TV. And my internet just kind of spazzed out for a moment there. And we are also on the iOS app as well as the Android app. You can find us, as well as, of course, Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So if you have not downloaded the app from one of those platforms, please do so. And make sure you stay up to date. Watch this episode as well as some of the other awesome episodes from this Born to Lead docuseries. So Olivia is the owner and founder of Strength of One, a gym apparel brand driven by passion and purpose. I love it. With a vision to inspire strength from the inside out, Olivia launched Strength of One to empower individuals through high quality clothing and functional training accessories. Her journey began with a desire to build a brand that focused on highlighting an individual's mental toughness and resilience, a message people can relate to, whether it be through their journey in physical fitness or discipline in their daily life. Through her commitment to quality products and dedication to empowering a community of like minded individuals, she continues to lead Strength of One with creativity and drive, making an impact online and in the gym. So I'm going to bring Olivia into the studio and we're going to hear from her. She's going to tell us a little, introduce yourself, Olivia. Hi, Olivia.
Hello. Hi, everyone.
So I know I started everyone off with telling them a little bit about you and your brand, but you go ahead and take it a little bit further and elaborate a little bit for us.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for having me on here. My name is Olivia Gibeau, and I opened Strength of One officially back in 2023, and we are an online gym apparel and accessories website. We're right here located in New Hampshire, but of course we serve everyone in the United States. So that's something that, like you said in the bio, it's something that we're really focusing on with empowering individuals and really making people more aware of what they can do with their high value thoughts, and making sure that they understand their worth and bringing that forward in whatever aspect of life it may be, whether it is the gym or even just in your work or relationships, no matter what.
Okay. So you said 2023, right?
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
that's when we officially opened. So it's almost been 2 years now. Very exciting, coming up in October.
Okay, so how did it come about? And is it just you?
It's me and a small team that I have, really, like friends, family at the moment. We have been growing, and I first got the idea, it was a few years prior to that, and the business officially came to life in 2022. Our first time of being open, though, was that year later. So it has been a few years in the making, and we're growing every day, which is a great thing to be saying as for a small business.
Yes. Wow. Okay. So why this in particular? Like, were you doing something similar prior to this? I mean, that was how did it all come about? I'm always interested because I can tell you're very passionate about it. So how did
Thank
it all, why is it so important to you, I guess?
Yeah, so I wasn't doing anything like this prior. I have a background in graphic design, and prior to launching my own business, I was actually in the sales world. So, a big part of why I started this business really came from those two aspects kind of joining themselves. So, I had that the creativity, the art from that graphic design, and just growing up in a very creative background my whole life. And then more of the technical, professional side from that sales and marketing. So I was inspired to bring those two things together really just because it's always been my dream. And like growing up, I'm like, it'd be so cool to have my own business or be like the director of a creative firm, something along those lines. And as I got more into the career that I was previously in, I just was really inspired by the work ethic that I saw around me and being in such a self-driven environment and harnessing all of those things together. It really led me, along with my love for the gym, and that's where this has also led me as well. Harnessing all those things really allowed me to put my time and effort into creating Strength of One, especially to be able to share what I found so powerful being in a self-driven environment and bring that forward. So because it's not just the gym or physical fitness that where people find that resilience and that mental drive, it can be in all aspects of life.
Right. So
Mm.
I have a couple of questions.
Mhm.
So where did the name originate from?
So it's always a funny story when my partner and I tell the story together. But and now that he's not here, though, I can take a little bit more credit for it. But I was battling for so long what the name of the business was going to be because of course, I did research and I've always been aware of the other brands out there, and I wanted something that had a power to power lending itself to the person, to the individual. I wanted to be focused on the individual rather than something like an animal that it's more focused on, or just like some like AI generated word string. So one day my partner and I are chatting about what is the business name going to be, and he actually inspired the name Strength of One. He's like, what about Strength of One? And I'm like, at first I'm like, it clicked. And then the more I said it, I was like, that's awesome. So it was, I like to say it was a group effort, but between me and him, but he did like have that initial inkling to it. So Strength of One was born in that moment as far as the name goes. And I thought it was brilliant just with being able to focus on the individual, and those words have a meaning, I guess, to everyone that hears it. And then you can, say, okay, what is my strength? My strength is, my strength is in the gym. Well, my strength is in my writing. My strength is in my ability to do, technical work. So it can very, very much vary with the person.
I like that. And it is very powerful. It is very
Thank
powerful,
you.
I
Yeah.
think. So when I hear you talk of when you talk of the coming together, you said the creativity and the business piece. I
Mhm.
love it because so many entrepreneurs when they start off, they're extremely. I don't mean to say like they don't remain passionate, but it typically starts from a passion of wanting to, maybe they saw a need or something that a difficulty that they had,
Mhm.
and as a result, they started their business, but they have like no clue as far as like the whole marketing piece and branding and copywriting, but it's like for you, you have like the best of both worlds there. Like you said, just that coming together with the business mindset, I would
Mhm.
assume what is it? Branding, strategy, all of that, and the creativity. That is so awesome.
Oh, well, thank you. And I think that I do look at that as one of the strengths of what I have, because I know there are even people on my team that are very driven towards one aspect. Now, of course, every day is it's always learning. It's always trying to, get better at something that, is lacking or I can improve on. So I think that's a big thing. And I think that's really how any entrepreneur should be, that you take what you have and then you learn more about it. Because I can tell you, from when I first started this, I had no idea about the whole advertising end. I didn't know, what works, what doesn't. Even stuff like you mentioned, like copywriting. Like, it sounds so easy when you first say it, but then all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, is anyone even gonna read this? Does this make sense? You're, up all night going back and forth. So while I appreciate my two backgrounds being able to come together and mash in that sense, it is still always, what can I do to get better, keep going and growing with my knowledge. And I mean, I'm very happy that we live in the time that we do, where so much stuff is accessible online, and you can, easily look up someone else's blog or their YouTube videos and think, okay, great. If this person did it, then why can't I? And you learn, and you're always figuring out the path to take. Best way to put it.
Absolutely. So, one of the
Mhm,
conversations that comes up quite
mhm,
often is building your team. Even though
mhm,
we're not necessarily talking about building a team per se, but of
mhm,
course, when you think of leadership, you're not only leading yourself, but you're going to be leading your team as well,
mhm,
right? And when people think about, and I'm guilty myself, when a lot of times when people think about building a team, they think about getting other people that are very similar or have similar strengths.
mhm,
And you just mentioned, some people are focused on, this particular area. You might have a person that's focused on or understands, knows all the ins and outs in terms of branding.
mhm,
Then you have another person that knows all the ins and outs of, like you said, the advertising end of it. So
mhm,
when you looking to build a team, you have to look for individuals that, or it's a good idea to look for
mhm,
individuals that have a different skill set. And it sounds like that's something that you and your partner were very well aware of at the beginning, which I'm pretty sure had played a big role in the success of your business, because it sounds like you guys are, you know, really being visible and,
mhm.
really on the, having, I guess, being very profitable, I guess, or being, visible, having a lot of inquiries, I would assume.
Yes. Yeah. So I mean, you said it perfectly. You want to be able to incorporate people that have these strengths, and not overlook something, even though if that person is strong in one aspect,
Mhm.
and maybe, necessarily at the time it's not making sense for like what you're doing, don't let that go to the wayside, though. You always want to keep building upon that, keep stuff, always never fully out of the picture, but something that you can always take little bits from. And I think having such again, a small team but a diverse way of how we all think, and having some people that are more on the artistic side, and then some people who are more on the technical aspect side of things, or like the more business side, it's able to get opinions from both sets of people. And of course there are groups in between that we don't want to let go to the wayside either, but being able to look at something and be like, okay, does this make sense to you? Because I'm definitely more of that like right brain creative in that environment. So if someone that like my partner, for instance, he is more of that technical side. So if he's like, okay, does this make sense to you when I show this? Are you getting the what I'm trying to convey? And I'm like, well, maybe, even though it makes sense to him the way I'm looking at it. So that can also go with how we actually touch upon customers and just find growing our community itself, because we want to be, of course, able to relate to everybody. That's really what Strength of One is. It's not exclusive to any type of interests or any like path of life that you're on. It's very open, it's very diverse. So we want to make sure that we hit all of that, and being able to have a team that encompasses that is like a great foundation before we deliver it to the world. That's what
Hmm.
we do it.
Absolutely. That makes sense. That makes total sense. So I know you said you guys have an online store,
Mhm.
right?
We
So
do.
do you guys so how do you funnel your traffic? Do you like send them to like a web page where they can, actually add to their cart, that type of thing?
Yeah, so the main way that you would purchase our products is going to be on that website.
Okay.
And that's so1apparel.com. So Strength of One was taken, unfortunately, for that web name. But
Okay.
that's where you would mainly go.
Okay.
And that's our official site. But a big thing that I wanted to incorporate was having numerous ways people could purchase things,
Mhm.
because I mean nowadays you're on Instagram, you're on TikTok, Facebook, even things like LinkedIn. There's so many resources people are using to get like their message or their brand across, where I didn't want to eliminate any of those. So you can also purchase our products from TikTok Shop, Instagram, Facebook, those kinds of places, just to really open it up. And that goes hand in hand with advertising as well. It's so much easier to someone scrolling on their phone on Instagram rather than going getting directed to a website. They can just in the app native do, make a few clicks. I love that. I want to buy it instantly. It's going to be in your cart getting shipped out. So we have
Okay.
a few different methods just to make it as easy on people as possible, I guess, who want to get their hands on Strength of One.
Yeah, awesome. So you guys have, well, I'm gonna add, this is the last thing I'll ask about this,
That's okay.
but you guys have everything. You have well, it's for men and women, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Mhm.
And it's all workout attire?
Yeah, so it's mainly workout attire, but it does have more of that like athleisure streetwear feel to some of the pieces. So some of the pieces you look at like the men's hooded tank top, for instance. You would look at that and be like, okay, that's definitely something that I'll wear to the gym. But then we have items like your oversized t-shirts that it's like, okay, great. You can wear that to the gym, but you could also, throw it on with a pair of jeans, or even the accessories that we have. We have hats, which have been really great they're received by the Strength of One community from our customers. And that, I mean, I wear it all the time just to go run errands on the weekend and stuff. I'm not going to the gym necessarily in it, but I can, throw it on and stuff like water bottles. So there are some exclusive gym products, but then there are also more versatile pieces. So, and that was another goal that I wanted to do. So it's not like, don't feel like even though you don't work out or you don't really want to invest too much money into these specific pieces for the gym, at least you can also get kind of like the best of both worlds with the majority of our clothing.
Okay. Nice. I like that.
Mhm.
So let's dive into leadership. So let me ask you this first. What interested you and made you want to be a part of the Born to Lead docuseries?
I think it was really because if if you asked me when I was younger if I necessarily saw myself in this position, I
Mhm.
would have said no, because it didn't seem like my personality when I was young and growing up. Like I would have been like, you're crazy. Definitely not that I'm, all of a sudden in leadership roles and, running my own business. But a big thing that I have these moments that I can pinpoint over the years of what has inspired me to kind of, grow into that personality, take advantage of my traits that have gotten me to the role that I'm in. And I think that was a big reason why I did want to come on and join you on your podcast, because it is something that if I didn't see myself doing it, I'm sure there are tons of other people, specifically women out there, that also view themselves as, well, that doesn't seem like me. I feel like more of like that follower, that I'll just, do my thing, and they don't necessarily have that vision of themselves. But I think that if someone like me could grow into that role and take your strengths and create something from it, I would love to hopefully inspire other women and other people to do the same. 'Cause it's a great capability to have, and it's something that it's not necessarily you're born with. You can do this. It's very inspiring.
Okay. So let me piggyback off of that. When you were growing up, did you see some examples, meaning like maybe your mom, grandmother, aunts that were in leadership roles that inspired you, or maybe entrepreneurship roles, or
Yeah,
both?
so I have such a strong family of women that I so appreciate, so love. And I think a big part of where I grew into taking on that role of leadership really did come from my mom, because she has her master's degree in education and special needs. She was, even though I didn't see myself going into that profession, I saw what she was able to do and is still doing with her degree, and being able to help children. And she's also very active in the church that she goes to, and having that leadership role as well. So I think seeing her and growing up with this, it doesn't matter, where you come from, who you are, what you do, like that. It's just, if you really put the time and effort and just, believe in yourself, as cliche as that sounds, if you really believe in yourself, then you can do it. And I think she definitely inspired me to do this. And she's actually even opened her own business as well. So I think we're kind of like going back and forth with each other, helping each other out, and also inspiring each other. So it's definitely been something that I'm very grateful for.
Nice. I love it. Okay. Mom and daughter both going into business.
Yes.
Separately, but both still running your own business.
Maybe
So,
together, who
love it.
knows?
Okay.
Someday we can merge.
Yeah. That's awesome. And I always ask that question because it's always interesting to me, because so many women I found growing up didn't really see those examples. You
Mm,
know, oftentimes we have the conversation of, I remember being told by like my mom and my aunts that as a
mm,
woman, and I know I'm probably quite a bit older than you, but I was always told to be seen and not heard. You
mm,
know, the whole idea of, I guess a woman actually, kind of stepping out from the back and really having her voice be heard, what really
mhm,
wasn't something that was encouraged, you know.
mm,
And I find that obviously as, the generations go on, um, that's not necessarily the case. So that's one of the reasons why this is so important to me, because I know, where I've come from. And actually, a lot of women have said to me, like we have this constant conversation about women in companies, let's just say not even entrepreneurship, but women
mhm,
in these, corporate positions, and being at the table and looking around and not really seeing, a lot of other women,
yeah,
so like in everything that comes along with that,
mhm,
and then you add that extra layer in terms of being an entrepreneur. So then you have the leadership piece, as well as, a lot of us don't even come from entrepreneurial families. When you
mhm,
start talking about being an entrepreneur, they're like, wait a minute, you know, maybe I think you kind of need to go and, get a job and just basically
mhm.
retire from that job.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
a whole different, being a entrepreneur versus an employee is a totally different mindset. So those conversations often come up. So I always, ask that. I'm always interested to, just kind of find out like what everyone's experience was, you know, growing up in reference to that. So that was why I asked that.
Oh, yeah, totally. And even though I'm very fortunate of the background that I came from with, I never
Mhm.
got told no because because you're a girl, because you're a woman. I was so lucky, at least for my family, to not experience that. I am a woman in public, so I do have my fair share of no, you can't
Right.
because you are a woman. But I think being in a previous environment, like you
Mhm.
said, when you look around corporate places, and if you're a woman, you're like, damn, there's not a lot of us. In my previous job in my sales, I was the only woman. So
Mhm.
it was interesting to be in an environment like that. And then even now with the even though I am, a business owner, the messages I'll get or the messages that my team gets, it's very always male directed. It is,
Mm.
hey, let the owner know, let him know, let him know when he can get back to me, things like that. Or hey, man, it's not even if it's subconsciously, it's still subconsciously, well, I can't, I guess I'm not thinking that a woman could own this brand. Like, I know it's all tough and, kind of more on that like grungy side, but that's what I'm interested in, and I'm not a guy, so it's
Right.
something that I think hopefully, like you said, it is progressing as the generations go on, which I am so happy is happening. But I think if people like you and me can, accelerate that and get that going even faster, I think it's going to benefit everybody for sure.
I agree. And I hadn't even thought about that. Like someone actually, like you said, sending an email or leaving some sort of a message saying, let the owner know, and it's like, really?
Yeah, like I want to speak to him, or I would love if you gave me his email. It's automatically in their minds. Okay, I'm going to be talking to a guy. It's like,
Right.
no, I can also like dark, grungy sportswear looks and have this business, but just what
Wow.
we're kind of accustomed to, I guess, in
Hmm.
our
For
society.
sharing that. That
Mhm.
that's definitely a slight, a little bit different of an angle that I didn't even really
Mhm.
think about. So thanks for sharing that. So Olivia, when we talk about leadership, what would you say are some of your, well, either maybe some defining moments that you've had
Mhm.
that, in your on your leadership journey, or maybe you can answer, what do you think makes you in particular a good leader, and or what do you think will make someone a good leader? Go with choosing
Yeah.
it.
I love that question, Jacqueline. I think that as far as what I've learned to develop in being a leader and coming into more so into this position, I think that a good mentality truly starts with you, because of course you think your job, at the beginning of the day is okay, I have to make sure that this is operating smoothly and that we are on track for our goals and more of the nitty-gritty technical side of it. But truly, if you have a group of people who are entrusting in you and they see something in you and they're going to be following you and what they're doing and how you're operating the business, because if you're at the top of it, then you need to make sure that what you're putting out as far as that positive mentality and making the team feel like a team, it's all going to start with you. And I think just from previous experiences and just like what else I just see from other people that I talk to, it's not necessarily always there. And then, it's kind of like, oh, well, why is this person on the team kind of like all like kind of down? Or why is there like, some like battle going on here and some animosity? And I think that it just really starts at the top of everything. So I think that if there is something that people do want to ensure of that makes them a good leader, it's definitely being that you are the support. It's going to be coming down to you at the end of the day to make sure that positivity, that good flow is happening. And I know it's kind of a lot to throw on a lead business owner's plate when their plate is already full, but it's really just having that mindset and that mental attitude of positivity to get you going, especially get you going every day, and then have that trickle down and flow out to everybody else.
So how do you do that?
I think it sounds so funny, but I wake up every morning and I tell myself, I'm going to have a great day. I'm going to be successful. Strength of One will be successful. And it's something that God, I owe so much credit to my partner. He's actually helped me a lot with that, and just having that positivity and having that in the forefront of my mind. And I'll do the same thing before I go to bed, as long as I remember and I'm not passed out from a long day. And I think that definitely helps, because especially being someone that's in the position of a leader and a business owner, there's so much stress, there's so much chaos that's always coming in, and there's so much on your mind always. So you kind of get that tunnel vision at times. And to be able to take a step back and look at everything and think, okay, I have already accomplished so much. Everything is, even though it doesn't necessarily seem like you have that growth and you're still, you're still climbing, it can feel stagnant at times. Look at everything that has already happened, and now you've already gotten through that, and you've learned from your mistakes or just whatever's happened, and have a positive outlook on it. Because it's, whether you want to call it manifestation or prayers or just, putting in the universe, you are the one that's successful, that's going to be responsible for your success at the end of the day. So if you can tell yourself that, this is going to be a great day, I'm going to make a difference. I think that, as much as everyone says you have to be like your own worst critic, which I'm a huge proponent of coming from art school, that's definitely something that I harnessed real fast. I think that you also have to be like your number one cheerleader. You have to, because it gets you in the right mindset. It keeps you on track. If you speak to yourself in a positive way, then it will hopefully all flow, and then flow back down to the team as well.
Right, right. I mean, I definitely think that having a positive attitude is, it's a non-negotiable. I think one of the challenges of being a leader is being able to set that tone, because everyone needs something different.
Mhm.
Everyone takes in information differently, you
Mhm.
know, and I think one of the big things for me, like when I think about leadership, I think about, well, yeah, uh-oh, I knew that was going to happen. I was going to get an alert. So one of the things that I think about, or when I think about myself as a leader, I often think about some of the previous leaders I've had,
Mhm.
managers, so, supervisors, whatever you want to call them. And I think about some of the things that I felt made them a good leader, and some of the things that I felt that they needed some work on,
Mhm.
because that perspective helps me to see how maybe other people may see me, and how I can
Mhm.
better make sure that it does trickle down. You know
Of
what I
course.
mean?
Mhm.
So when I say when I talk about previous experiences, like, what do you pull from any of the previous experiences that you've had, with other, supervisors and leaders or mentors, that you incorporate now, that helps you be the best leader that you can be?
Oh, entirely. And I always look back. I don't want to say every day, but it is always active on my mind about the previous jobs I've had, and those experiences. Okay, well, this person as a manager or as a boss, they weren't necessarily the right fit. Or, or oh my God, they were perfect. I missed them. They were awesome. So, I mean, for instance, there have been times where it's like someone's telling you to do something, but
Mhm.
it's only because they're the boss and they get to tell you that's what you should do. And, well, it doesn't mean, you ask them, okay, well, why do I have to do this? It doesn't matter. When you're in my position, you'll be able to boss people around too. It's like, that's not cool. Like, that's not what anyone wants to hear. So when I'm looking at implementing certain things in my business and just with my team, and making sure that everyone is treating people like people is the first step, not just bossing them around. They're not your minions. They're not just there to work for you. You're actually trying to establish a community, especially within your company.
Mhm.
And understanding that everyone is different. So what works for one person may not work for the other person. So to be able to understand different communication styles and understand that, certain timelines for things may not be able to be realistic necessarily for one person over the other. You always have to work and learn really people at the end of the day. So I think that's something that I definitely got from a previous manager of mine as well. Just being able to understand different learning styles, different work styles, and one isn't necessarily, better or worse than the other one. It's just that everyone's different.
Right. Everyone's different.
Mm.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. So every leader or a good leader has to be in tune,
Definitely.
and one big thing too, I feel is not to be authentic, to be authentic
Mhm.
and not feel like you have to portray like you know everything. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? Like you have
Mhm.
all the answers because
Oh
no
yeah,
one
totally
has all
agree.
the answers.
Yeah, no. I
You know what
wish
I
we
mean?
did, but no one does.
Right, exactly. So we're gonna kind of get ready to close out. So with that being said, what would you like to leave the audience with as it pertains to leadership and being a good leader?
I think my number one takeaway or what I want the audience to take away would be that it comes down to you at the end of the day. Being in the role that you choose to put yourself in,
Mhm.
you you need to want to be successful, because there are people, and this is a big part of Strength of One and just what I really put out for the brand,
Mhm.
that so many people can say, I want to do this, I want to do that. I want to lose 30 pounds by the end of the year. I want to make more money, or whatever your goals are in life. Those are always like the big two that we're hearing: lose weight and get healthy, and, make more money and buy fancy things. It's always on everyone's minds, but it's what are you doing to get yourself there? So I think that as long as you're finding a way to make progress, whether even if it's just 1% every single day, you're still making progress. Because if you want to be successful, if you truly want to be successful as much as you breathe, then you will always find a way. So definitely, again, it's always thrown around on like Pinterest boards, but believe in yourself truly, because it needs to come from within you.
Right. Absolutely. So give us the website once again, in case for people to follow, not follow you, but come and basically check out your products.
Yes, it is so1apparel.com. And the one is just the number one. So you can check out our gym apparel, our accessories. We do have a new release coming this spring/summer. We're just trying to get a few more little things, little details figured out right now on the exact release, but we will have more items coming, and I hope people will go check it out, and hopefully something inspires you.
Yeah. Well, great. Well, thank you so much. It's
Thank
been
you.
a pleasure, Olivia, actually getting to know a little bit about you and your business and your insight in reference to, just personal development, basically. Because leadership development really is personal development,
Mhm.
because
Oh, yeah.
developing yourself, right?
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Totally.
Yep. So thank you so much for your insight.
Thank you so much for having me, Jacqueline. It's been a complete pleasure.
Well, great, great. I'm really glad to hear that. So let's definitely stay in touch,
Mhm.
and everyone definitely go to her website and check out her. I was trying to say the name. The what is it? The Strength of One. Sorry,
Yes,
Strength of
strength one.
One.
No, you're good.
Trying to
I
remember
forget to tell you, SO1 for short. It's so easy.
SO1. So make sure you check her out.
Mm.
All right. Well, we're gonna go ahead and close this out. This has been a episode of the Born to Lead docuseries. If you are interested in being interviewed, you know, reach out to me. Let's have a conversation. You can usually find me on LinkedIn or either on Facebook under Dr. Jacqueline Kabah Harrison. So reach out to me and let's schedule a time to chat and let's go from there. And again, if you are interested, or shall I say, make sure you visit the Realizing Your Potential TV app, which streams on Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV, as well as the Android app and the iOS app. Make sure you check us out, okay? Check out this episode, refer a friend, tell a friend, whether you're a business owner or not. Anyone that's interested in personal, professional, or leadership development, this is definitely where you need to hang out. All right, so thank you again, everyone, and thanks for your continued support. And until next time, take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye now.